Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. We are live from Leipzig, Germany with the first stop of the DreamHack circuit for the year and the first major Rocket League esports event of the year as well. And it's been an amazing weekend so far. We're 2 days down of group play and now we are into the bracket play. Our final 8 teams in competition today, all competing for that trophy and $50,000. Our first match saw our most recent RLCS World Champions Gale Force Esports getting knocked out by guess who? Actually their name, and now guess who is going to be advancing on in the bracket. My name is Axel Toss. I'm joined here by Gibbs and Achieves, and the day has started incredibly. The first match going all the way to 5 games. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket to update everyone on what's going on. It's best of 5 all throughout the quarterfinals, and then best of 7s to close things out. 7 total matches on the day, and we're 1 match down.
And we have all of Europe playing in these first 2 and in that first semifinal. Then all of North America with the surprise team Dignitas from the Rival Series making it all the way to day number 3. And of course, we got Jacob versus NRG. That should be a good one.
Yeah, and also, before we even get that far, you got to get through PSG and Flipside. Yukio, huge first land for him. Jesse, the guy who never plays threes in his life, coming out here and putting on a good show back in day number 2, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yep. I know, the matches almost keep getting better and better, though it seems like every match should be incredibly close throughout the entire day. That's just how close all of these teams are at the highest level. But yes, we have PSG going up against Flipside in the upcoming match, and we know they've been waiting for this moment.
It was like, I've never had such a best of 5 before. It was the most intense best of 5 I've ever had. And my heart, it's still pumping. I don't even know.
That equalizing shot. Not only that, but really a solid opportunity. They've been waiting for one for a long time, but Chalset will find a great one.
The tournament's been pretty smooth for us. We haven't came up against any hard teams yet. We've had a pretty easy bracket, so we're just like cruising through, and we're quite confident. As a team, we prepared by grinding a lot, because in the off season, a lot of pros just don't play as much, but we've been just keeping up and playing a lot more, so I think that's our upper hand.
We've played all weekend without any pressure, because you know I've just arrived, so we have no pressure. We're just gonna play our game. I mean, we just took out Method, probably one of the favorites to win. So if we just play that game, play the same, we might even have a shot, you know, on winning some rounds, maybe even getting to the final, who knows. And yeah, we're just gonna try, play the same game.
Our goal for the tournament is to win the whole thing. I think we definitely can win the whole thing on a good day, but it's gonna be hard, it really is. The venue's amazing, it's big, I love it, you know, I feel like I shine on the stage especially when the audience is cheering for us as well. It's great.
Whenever I'm on stage, I look at the crowd and yeah, and I can hear everything, but once I'm in the game, I just completely focus on the game.
The message I want to send to my opponent is we're ready, we're gonna come at full force, we're prepared.
PSG going up against Flipside, our next quarterfinal match on the day. A best of 5 to see who moves on to the top half semifinal to play against guess who. And we're going to start the conversation with PSG. What a team this is, guys. Filled with so much talent. And I feel like the question has always been, you know, they have all this talent, they have all this ability, but can they put it all together on the day of to really make a deep championship run?
And Bluey, my MVP for day number 2, played absolutely phenomenally. They're on a 5-game win streak. They were down 1-2 to Ghost, who Bluey said was an easy competitor, and then swept Equinox and Farah there. He's their closer. When Bluey's doing crazy things, it's the force rebounds out, and then Farah comes in to close, and Chaussette, he's their third man. He's one in the back. So much time. Look, when he gets the ball with so much time, he can make anything happen, so watch out for him. This is not an easy game for Flipside. But Flipside, of course, has the Cux factor, so who knows?
Yeah, like you were saying, Axel, though, it's really a question of can they put it together. We know they can put it together. It's can they hold it together at a live environment. And I think with all the experience they've gained in the previous year, I think 2018 is a really good chance for PSG to come out here and show people what they're really capable of at a live event.
Now we're going to go to the other side of the stage. PSG competing against one of the classic names when it comes to Rocket League esports. Although they look much different now than they have in previous months and previous years, Cooks here has always been the leader, always been the guy to look out for on this Flipside squad.
Yeah, he's normally with Marky, who is like the normal team captain, but now Cooks has to go into that role. And then Jesse, 48 hours before the tournament, he gets called upon because Mystic is sick. It's now 96 hours in, and he looked much better on day 2 than day number 1. Hats off to him. He's not even on a team. He just plays 2v2 ranked all the time, ranked number 1 in the world. And then Yukio, the new addition from Flipside, the keyboard mouse player. Everyone was talking about him throughout the offseason. Everyone knew he was going to be picked up by Flipside because he was so good. This is his first live environment, and he looked great on day number 2 as well. A little shaky on day 1, but Flipside survived.
And now we go to the Twitch chat. We really value your input, believe it or not. I promise we do. And now it is your turn to vote on who you think will win. Hashtag PSG or hashtag Flipside. Remember, that's a 3 at the end of Flipside. And also, I'm looking very closely at the chat because I want to invite you guys onto the analyst desk. I know we talk a lot and we make our points, but I want to see some good points in the Twitch chat, and I'll try to read some of those up onto the stream. So make sure you get your votes in right now. But PSG, Flipside should be a very close matchup, both having pretty nice storylines coming into this event, and then actually being here. PSG, pretty comfortable run to get to this point. Flipside going through a little bit more adversity, but it's time to get into our favorite segment. We have 3 reasons why with Gibbs this time.
All right, so 3 reasons why my favorite player, Cooks, is so clutch. He did it again here, but I'm going to cheat a bit. It's normally 3 reasons. He's so clutch, I have 6. So we're going to get through it. First off, for number 1, we have RLCS season number 2, world champions. Who scored the overtime goal to win it? Of course, it was Cooks. And then DreamHack Summer. They are down 1 goal to Gale Force in game number 6. And then who scored it? It was Cooks with 13 seconds left. And then 8 seconds later, Marky scores, and they win DreamHack Summer. Number 2, we have RLCS season number 3 regionals. They played Method, and it went all the way to game number 7, overtime. Cooks, he scores it to go to the World Championships. Then their first game at the World Championships against Selfless. 0 seconds, game number 5, they're down a goal. Who scores? Cooks. Who scores in overtime? The double tap, Cooks to advance there. And then finally, for my 3rd DreamHack Open, here, day number 1. They played against Advanced Game where they were down a goal with 1 minute left. Who scores? Cooks. And then who gets the pass? Cooks to win that game. And then day number 2, we just saw it versus Method once again. It was game 5. It was overtime. Who's going to score it? It is Cooks once again. He is so clutch. When you're down a goal, or if it's tied in overtime, game number 5, game 7, doesn't matter. I want Cooks here on my team every single time over any of these players here. And that is why Cooks is so clutch. And my 3 reasons, which are really 6, and there's plenty more cases for it, but he is such a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who he's teaming with.
It just really doesn't.
Like he can just pull together. And now, like PSG, you would probably say this is one of the easier teams here out of these last 8. But with Cooks here, you never want to be playing him when it's win or go home because he steps up all the time.
He has that knack for just being in the moment when it absolutely matters, and he believes it, and he shows it. Because every time it happens, he's the most passionate player on that stage.
Absolutely.
Please, someone put together that highlight reel of all these like last-second clutch goals that Cooks here has done, and make sure you get all those emotions in there, because he's always standing up and just roaring as loud as he can. So great points there, Gibbs. But it's time for us to get into our predictions. Achieves, we're going to start with you.
I think you make excellent points, Gibbs. Cooks here is indeed a master of clutch, and
I'm waiting for the butt.
But there's too much going against Flipside here. Yukio and Jesse have both played a phenomenal DreamHack Open, but just like yesterday when I said that Dignitas was going to run into a brick wall with guess who, that didn't happen, but I think it's going to be the same thing here. I think PSG is too much to handle for them.
All right, here's PSG's main goal. Do not bring it to 5 games. You don't want to have that clutch factor come in.
You can't let it get to win or go home.
Exactly. So make sure you beat them in 4, and I think that's exactly what PSG will do. They'll beat them in 4, and possibly even 3, because Bluey is playing out of his mind. PSG wins this.
Yeah, guys, PSG is my favorite here as well. Not only that, I think Gale Force was honestly the biggest hurdle for PSG today. So PSG might be my tournament favorite after Gale Force was knocked out there by guess who. So I have PSG here, and I might have them going all the way. But now it's time to see what Twitch chat had to say. Let's see those percentages. 55%. Interesting. 55% in favor of Flipside.
Hey, they have a lot of fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I actually was watching the Twitch chat very closely because I want to get y'all's input onto the show. We want to include you guys. I wrote down a couple points that people were making in the Twitch chat. Someone mentioning Jesse's lack of experience,
yes,
which I think is a very valid point. Someone mentioning Flipside does not have Marky. You know, a lot of people talk about the Marky Cooksier pairing and how well they do, how well they've done in history. No Marky here. I think that's a good point too. Someone else said that Flipside has a knack for overcommitting. But maybe they can figure that out.
That goes back forever.
And finally, we had one of our wonderful viewers suggest that since PSG is on the blue side, that's going to lead to their victory.
You know what? That's the best point.
Is that because it's bluey? Is that the main point there? Okay.
If Bluey's on blue, he's good to go.
And the PSG logo.
Thank you for your suggestions. This is more than just three-person analyst desk. We invite you all to provide your input. Let's speaking of inviting input. Greg and Shogun, gentlemen, what are you thinking right now about this PSG Flipside matchup?
I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I do want to thank you, Gibbs, by the way. I decided to take a sip of water every single time you said Cux's name. And I'm now well hydrated, so I'm glad. Cheers.
It did start to sound weird by the end of it because it just kept
to
ringing.
a rhythm. I thought he was going to start, breaking out a freestyle rap on us.
I mean, he's one of my favorite players, man. I'm just going to keep throwing his name out there.
Put the beat track behind him. Let's do it.
I think it's for a good reason. I think every player on this stage has a right to be considered a very, such a top player in Rocket League. But only one team can move on. It's either Flipside or PSG, a best of 5. Greg and Shogun, take it away.
Thank you very much. And I just want to call out Twitch chat saying Jesse hasn't had much experience. We have seen his LAN experience, 3-time Insomnia champion, 2 with his opposition here, Bluey. And then the final one, it was Bluey versus Jesse with different teams. And Jesse came out on top. So I think we can safely say he's a LAN boy.
Advantage Jesse is what we're saying over here. But what was very interesting yesterday is the way that we saw Flipside adapt. Yes, Jesse had a very difficult day 1. That's because he was trying to play Flipside style, the style that they play with Mystic. Now, Mystic is not Jesse, and Jesse is not Mystic. So instead, day 2, they switched around. They allowed Jesse to play more of a ground-based style, and that's what worked out so much better for them as we head into Game 1 in our second quarterfinal match between Flipside Tactics and PSG.
If it's anything like our first series today, we are in for a treat because this is the top 8 of DreamHack Open in Leipzig. Every team is within the distance of the final. And every team wants it. Every team can take it. Which of these will be the one coming out on top?
Jesse trying to take over to start with. Doesn't end up missing the ball. As Bluey will be the final player at the back. Cooks here. Bring it straight towards Chaussette. It's actually straight towards the back of his car, so it's going to be very difficult to try and clear away. And now 2 players committed. Follow-up coming in from Yukio. Puts it straight down. It doesn't matter if you overcommit as long as you score.
Yukio sending that one low because pre-jumps have been the flavor of the saving month. As you just watched there, Chaussette going up early, not able to defend it. Not only was it down, but it was to the side. Very smart placement.
Are we seeing something different now overall from shooting, where originally we saw a lot of crossbar shots? That was the way to go all the time. But now because we are seeing everyone being ready for that, mix it up, put it low at times. A lot of goals have been scored this weekend just by putting it under the keeper.
And because people are being forced to hit it so high in the goal, if they do go for the crossbar, we're often seeing them miss it high into the backboard. So yes, perhaps aiming for those bottom corners. It worked for Turbo Pulsar in the last game at one moment, but it just needs to be used even more. Mix it up.
Jesse up on the backboard. Does get beat by Bluey. Double commit from Flipside. They do back down from it, so they should be safe. Now Jesse looking for yet another block. One of the most physical players that we saw yesterday. I think the only person that was even more aggressive was probably Joro on the dude who just seemed to hit ball and then hit players. Follow-up from Jesse, not quite there. Don't expect Flipside to ever send 3 forward too often. I know we saw it for the very first goal, but now that they have the lead, hold on to having a player back at all times. We've already seen how dangerous PSG can be from a counter and how well they can pass.
Yeah, I like how Yukio is rotating on the backboard. PSG tend to play a high game, especially Bluey likes the aerial plays. So if you can cover that back wall, it takes away an option. And it makes them have to mix it up. But of course, we were mentioning yesterday how adaptable PSG are, able to change how they play every game. So really going to be a chess match here. Who's going to make the first move and who's going to have to change?
Absolutely. They started off yesterday against Ghost. Very insistent that the passing plays were going to work, because it's going to be a chase all the way back. Kuxir is already there. They started off very insistent that the passing plays were going to work, and actually it did work later on for them in a much easier match. However, when that didn't start working, they didn't go to individual plays. Instead, they just settled back to a regular rotation and forced Ghost to create their own mistakes. Ball off the backboard. Yukio doesn't get a great touch, followed up from Kuxir, who will save Flipside Tactics from giving up their 1-goal lead.
As we go into the second half, Flipside's early goal at the moment is looking to be the only difference. Both teams creating opportunities but are easily defended, as rotations have been very efficient and quick, but that's where things like boost starving can really throw off a team's speed and rhythm.
You saw Bluey just take a second over in Flipside's half. Wanted to see if a potential pass can come towards him. You actually see it quite a lot now, where players don't necessarily try and rotate back as quickly as possible. Instead, we'll see whether or not their teammates can create a more convincing opportunity for them. Kuxir now takes the shot. It's going to be a difficult one. He wanted to get the net. Now an infield pass. He's got way too much power on that. It seems like Kuxir is not only, positions perfect, but he's not even timing perfect. He is frame perfect at points.
He is, and that's the advantage of that Batmobile. It does have the potential to create much faster hits, much acuter angles because of the length of the car, but it's just a little bit more inefficient at times. Octane, very consistent. So what you got to bear in mind when you're using the Batmobile is every touch has to be point perfect. And from his fighting game history, I'm sure he's used to frame perfect movement.
I don't think he's going to be able to frame trap anyone here, but he would love to trap PSG in their own half of the field with 1 minute remaining. Tries to get the block, as now PSG will be stuck. More attempts at bouncing players off the wall. We saw that a lot in Gale Force's match against Guess Who. Good block from Jesse. He's read the play incredibly well. 2 players up as well. He's going to need to rotate all the way back. The substitute forced to play by himself, but it's going to be pretty easy for him. Chaussette very wasteful with the 1 player back opportunity that PSG were presented with.
Yeah, Jesse is, as they mentioned on the desk, a very good 2v2 player. And one of the things he does well is just draw players in and take him out of the game whilst also wasting a lot of time. And that is perfect for a solo player back, but you need to start using the 3 players then, because that is the only thing he's not used to, is an onslaught of good passing attacks.
PSG have struggled to get those passes going. Ball played all the way down. Chaussette can't get there. He's going to need to start rotating back soon, as the counter-attack will not come in. Flipside Tactics are 1 goal up as we head into the final few seconds of this match. PSG playing the ball up high. Probably a good place to start. The ball cannot afford to touch the floor. Bluey can't get there in time for the shot. Game 1 will go over to Flipside Tactics.
So as we see there, Flipside's early goal was the difference. The rest of the game, pretty well defended. Neither team really creating many chances. And that is often the strategy these days. If you get that first goal, you don't need to do anything too fancy. Force your opposition into overcommitting, and then that's when you start taking the lead away from them. But it was Flipside taking game 1, but there is plenty more games to be played, as this is a best of 5 to move on to the semi-finals of DreamHack Open in Leipzig.
And PSG didn't necessarily make that many mistakes in that match. Just really struggled to optimize their possession and really create opportunities for themselves. It was more of a trying to make the play happen as they were touching the ball, rather than having a design already set in their heads as to how they were going to break Flipside down. So they will find themselves a single game down. Plenty of matches to go, but I can already feel it. Can you feel that? It's like it's Kuxir's super meter charging up.
Yeah.
We'll see it full by game 5.
Yeah, that swish of the hair, that's charging in 1 step forward. And then he just needs to have a hype moment to unleash the full wrath that is the clutch Kuxir. So many moments in the past, would love to see another one, but I'm sure PSG do not want to leave it down to game 5.
I think if they could have taken Kuxir exactly how he was coming off the stage yesterday and just put him in a crowd of people that were just hyping him up for the next 24 hours and keep him in that frame of mind, I'm sure Flipside would have done it.
Speaking of
Kuxir, he's going to take this already, not needing game 5. He's going to take the first goal in game 2.
We've spoken about the kickoff being a place where there's lots of space and lots of knowledge of what your opposition are doing. And Kuxir right there One-on-one with Bluey, recognizes the space and fakes him out with the first shot. Lands with the ball and sends it just to the side of him. Cooksir, a very adequate 1v1 player, uses those skills effectively.
Shot on target, Cooksir, forcing the save from Farah. Flipside tactics, very similar to game one, taking an early lead. Now, can they keep this going? Shot on target from Yukio would have been required, and they would have been potentially 2 goals up. Shot over to Farah, not on target either. Half a minute now gone. Josette looking infield. Farah backing off yet again. It just seems like PSG aren't willing to throw all the eggs into their offensive basket, and instead, it just seems like they're worried about Flipside counter-attacking. If they commit too forward, what would they do if there's one back? But that is nothing to be worried about when you've got Bluey taking a shot.
The amount of power coming from a very small man there. Farah sends it to the nose of Bluey, and straight along the ground the whole way, 125 kilometers an hour. You couldn't have hit that much harder. Bluey puts them back in the game, and that's the first goal they've been able to score today.
This is going to end up being the new progression of Rocket League, isn't it? You hit low because you can barely hit the ball when you first play the game. You hit the ball high because you've learned how to hit the ball really well. And then you hit the ball low again because you've realized that maybe going low is probably a better idea.
Well, it depends on what your opposition are doing, because you just got to read them over and over again, but it has been effective so far. That low shot, it was something we were asking for yesterday. Don't know if these two were listening, but it's working here. And now this game is back to basically a 0-0 game. Confidence boost from the goal for PSG will certainly play a factor.
Yukio, he does have Jesse over there, which he has found. One-on-one, takes it past. But there is Bluey back in the net. Now Farah tries to tap it down. Cooksir will try and find the corner instead. He actually has the boost to take control.
How did he still have a dodge there?
Oh, he's just very good at timing. I think he gets it like within the last possible second. Like, really close is what I'm saying.
There's 1.5 seconds, isn't there? And he looked like he was flying forever.
Farah can't quite take control. Josette and Bluey not doing a great job in defense. It's going to be Bluey required to get a block and then get a large booming clear, which he can potentially follow up. Instead, he will be beat. Josette can possibly set this up. The keeper is now out, but the shot is shut down by Cooksir. Flipside tactics avoid 2-1 being the scoreline. Bluey up on the wall. Yukio just trying to play straight down. Seems like the opening minute or so is always the time for everyone to really blast off. Speaking of blasting off, the shot from Cooksir is an absolute boomer.
As soon as he won that challenge with Josette, you could just see his elevation maintained for the path of that ball. And look how he left one boost. He didn't need an ounce more, because that one boost would have done nothing.
He pulled the finger off and was just like, I did it.
Just
looks at Jesse and just goes, we're in the lead again, guys. It's all good.
It's funny how the Batmobile players are both so good at reading those backboard touches. We saw Fairy Peak last game doing the same. It's almost like that car has something about it.
I mean, it's almost a necessity, really, with the Batmobile, where you have to try and hit it almost perfectly. Yukio gets a tap down, the follow-up. Saved and into the post. Flipside. If you were watching for the very first time, you would not believe that this was a team that was playing with a sub. Jesse, not necessarily as impactful as Mystic, but he has done his job well. Be in the correct position and allow Cooksir and Yukio to work on that synergy they've pulled off. Cooksir faking out defender before trying to take a shot that is just a little bit too high. So 2 on the scoreline, minute and 50 seconds remaining. Yukio force Farah into a tough position. Now Josette looking it long, should just be over to Jesse, who can flick it up for himself. You know what I really want to see from Jesse right now? I really want to see that tap, and then he can get in front of the ball and smash the defender out of the way. I've seen him play that all the time, but it's going to be much more difficult in this sort of game.
I can tell you, having had that done to me, it's one of the most frustrating things to see. You think he mishits it, but then just carries on flying as he reads your attempted save and demos you or bumps you in the air. But I think in the 3v3 situation, he hasn't had many chances to dribble, even though he's so effective at it.
He'd have to be put into a third man, realistically, for that to ever get an opportunity. There, speaking of opportunities, going to be a shot. Very weak, though. And Yukio can look for Jesse downfield. Cooksir. Ball up high. Choosing to not go for the second touch after his first one was just a little bit too long. Yukio plays the ball straight down. He wanted to try and reset off the ceiling. Doesn't quite get there. And now a good opportunity for PSG to move themselves forward. It's infield. Josette beat to the ball by Yukio. Bluey can start aiming. He goes long, wants to try and pass to himself from the looks of it. But there was always going to be a player up on the backboard. Good pressure still from PSG. Bluey takes out 2, and Yukio gets enough that Farah doesn't have an opportunity to go for the rebound.
Time is wasting away now, 30 seconds left. PSG need this goal, otherwise they are in that horrible situation that Gale Force were last game. 2 games down is never a favorable situation.
Into the middle yet again. PSG keep getting very good opportunities, but because Flipside have kept the momentum going, even when they retreat back to defense, they've managed to get up and block rather than forcing themselves to get the save, and they are on the verge of match point. Flipside Tactics are 1 game away from eliminating PSG.
Now we heard on the analyst desk, now that Gale Force are out, potentially PSG are your favourites.
So let's not give anyone that title anymore. Clearly it's not working out.
You do not want to be the favourites in this competition. The analyst desk is cursing you because now, as you said, Flipside, 3 match points. And I just want to talk about Yukio for a moment. Yesterday, I asked him, I said, hey, what's it like playing on keyboard and mouse? Is it a disadvantage? And he instantly responded, he said, it's only mechanics. It's all in the brain, and you can see how that is working for Flipside. They are playing smart, they are playing controlled, and they are winning games.
Now right there is what they are all playing for. PSG very solemn right now, as Farah, the team captain, just giving instructions about what does need to change. They've had very good ball possession. They've managed to control the majority of the field. But still, the only time they've scored has been from a counter-attacking play. It just seems like when PSG have controlled the midfield up, they can't really create anything for themselves.
And Cooksir created 2 goals for himself in that game. I want to say pretty much solo plays on both of them.
Definitely double tap backboard shots.
And he is that player that everyone kind of still fears, even though he dropped off a bit after having the best year in 2016, Player of the Year, in fact. Now he's still a dominant force, a very strong contender, and someone you've always got to watch out for. Oh, PSG have got to be scared. This is a clutch situation for them if they ever need one.
Well, there's no real good options for them right now. They need to get 2 wins in the bag, at which point they take on the final boss himself, Clutch Cooksir, in a game 5. Yukio didn't quite get the correct contact as he was challenged. Chaussette off the backboard. Once again, 2 players committed, but Flipside never made to pay. They always get strong enough contact despite being really messy. Here's Jesse, one-on-one. This is gonna be exactly what he does online. He takes it to the stage and gives Flipside yet another early lead.
One thing we heard before, is Jesse gonna be able to perform on the LAN stage? We said he's been a clutch player in the past on the stage, and you saw exactly why. He gets so hyped in this stadium, and he is taking advantage of that as he 1v1s the final player and puts his team not only ahead this game,
there's going to be 2.
Match-winning situation.
Cooksir can't quite put it in yet again, but Flipside Tactics are all over this. Jesse taking ball control, flicks it up. It was uncontested until he was removed from the pitch. Cooksir by himself does very well just to paddle the ball back to the middle. And here is the position yet again that PSG has found themselves every single game. 1 goal down, forced to create chances, forced to break down Flipside. Good play from Farah. Can follow this. He should be first, but the bounce was evil. It was terrible, but PSG will forced to continue playing.
Cooksir was in a PSG sandwich. The 2 of them were charging down either side of him, and he needed that bounce, and it did go in his favor. Flipside are loving it now as they are just getting so much in their favor, not only in terms of scoring goals, but they're able to defend a strong
Physics
PSG.
itself wants Flipside to win right now, as the shot off the side can be followed up by Chaussette, but Cooksir is in the way. Now another long ball. Cooksir's touches have always been just so solid so far. Chaussette does take it past 1. He's got Farah infield, tries to play off the backboard. He will get there in time, and we are all tied up.
That's a great goal from PSG, working together. Chaussette using that wave dash to keep close to that ball, pulling Cooksir out of the game with the backboard, and that near post shot from Farah. Point perfect, shot low again, I don't think in that situation the height really mattered too much.
Just
but
hit the target.
Yeah, hit the target close to you.
Well, PSG are going to be very happy about that in a game where they've struggled to make comebacks. To go into the final 2 minutes, 1 goal down would have been nearly catastrophic for them because I could just see it all breaking down at that point. Still got a lot of work left to do. Ferrer puts the ball straight over to Cooksit. Jesse's on the hunt. Bluey now taking out. Chaussette covers incredibly well. Now Chaussette taking out with a fake. Can be the target man. Sets it back up for Ferrer. Plays it back down. I think he was looking for Bluey on the wall. But now the counter-attack. Nobody in net. Can they turn it in off the post? And we still remain all tied up.
Not only do they go for the 3-man attack, but they were very low on boost as a team, so it means the recovery is going to be that little bit slower. And so it did mean the counter-attack was on the flip side. You've really got to be conscious of your team's boost. Bluey tipped it to the far post, and that is not going to be stopped by even the best defender that is Cooksit.
2 goals now out of PSG's 3 have come from a down-the-line pass to a player waiting in the midfield. They have found something that is working. The unfortunate part about getting that to work is they have to invite Flipside to move forward for offense just to open up those gaps. However, for the first time this series, PSG have the lead. Now they must convert. Yukio, it's going to be incredibly loose. Should be Bluey up first. Plays the ball infield. Seems like the confidence is back for those passing plays from PSG, something that was very much lacking in the opening 2 matches. Bluey, another block. Should be Yukio's. Over to Jesse. Caught off it by Cooksit. Now Jesse's going to be forced to go all the way back. Gets caught off and gets boost stolen away from him in the middle. There's going to be an opportunity. Chaussette tries to launch long. Doesn't quite get it past Jesse. And Jesse's actually made a huge mistake. Bluey, one-on-one, flicks up high. Over Yukio. Can try and follow up. It's not in.
Got to be scoring those.
I think the original flick was just making it too difficult. If we had to try and shoot a little bit too quick, Jesse looks to solo play, gets it off the backboard, but there will be no follow-up, no players in the correct position midfield to run for a shot as we head into the final 45 seconds. Tries to make it 2. Not quite there, though. And the block, actually, from Chaussette as Ferrer moved forward. Bluey would be by himself. He's got everyone hounding him, and he couldn't correct after the original attempted bump.
Jesse being a nuisance. He loves doing this. Just watch him charge down Bluey. He knew he was there the whole time, forced Bluey into an awkward spot up on that backboard, and Bluey just couldn't find a way to get down to that ball. He had to adjust his car in an awkward way, and that ball sneaks in. The scores are level again.
PSG, the nerves will be back now. They have got this all tied up. Bluey can get that. Oh, he just can't execute on the plan, and now Cooksit is past 1. Ferrer over in the corner. He's got Cooksit chasing him down. In fact, it was indeed Jesse. Now Ferrer showing off some of his individual abilities, but he's not going to show too much after immediately being shut down. PSG must score next, but they're under defensive pressure. Double tap is blocked. 10 seconds remaining in the match. Over in the corner, Jesse wants to force the issue. They want to finish this right now. Cooksit wants to get a double tap yet again. It would have been such a Cooksit thing to do with 0 seconds remaining to take out PSG. But there is still a heartbeat there from Paris Saint-Germain.
Nice try.
That was actually Paris Saint-Germain. It's all good.
Is it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I checked like Ali McCoy's saying it or something. There's no way
Ali
Scotsman
McCoy,
there's no way he could ever be wrong.
Of all the people you could choose to pronounce things off of, you chose that man. But anyway, PSG versus Flipside are now in overtime. And if Cooksit can take it now, that is game, but it is not, alas. Now we see PSG on the counter. This is going to be a heart-wrenching overtime.
Oh, Yukio doesn't make contact. Chaussette would have preferred the bump to come through before he took the shot. Now Bluey, he slow plays it. He delayed the shot, the follow-up off the post. Bluey now passing infield. Too much power, though, for Chaussette to put the ball in. Flipside need to find an escape. The escape might be Jesse. Tries to get a flick. Never quite found the ball in a good position, and now PSG have really stepped up the momentum. Just don't get caught for an overcommit. Ferrer plays the ball down to the side. Chaussette will be uncontested as he plays it back over to Bluey. Once again, the pass too heavy. Now, Flipside might finally be able to transition out. They've got back control of some of the midfield. Yukio winning out. Jesse off the side, tempted from Yukio. If he won that challenge, this could have very well been over. As Cooksir causes problems over in the blue corner. And this has now just turned into challenge after challenge. One major win could spell the end of a team's rotation and the end of a team's game. It's a big miss. Attempted follow-up. Seems like Flipside are happy to just search for PSG as they have been all series long. Bluey almost sort of blending in with the blue surroundings. I actually didn't see him till the final second, but he's found Farah. He's going to follow it up. And another save from Yukio. Just had the ball so close to him the entire time. 2 minutes of overtime now played.
That's a shot on net. Farah takes it into game 4 as he finishes that overtime. Close range shot below the crossbar. And PSG can settle down a little bit now.
Let's keep this going. PSG have survived an incredibly tense game 3 and finally pick up their first win. Gregan, we're looking across the field. PSG finally starting to find each other with passing plays. And they are starting to work out a lot better. You can see the save from Yukio just sort of lands on it, really. Was always too close to the ball for it to be shot past it. Maybe should have been played more like a challenge rather than a shot.
And Jesse being the reason they concede there. Not enough space for him to start that dribble, and he just loses control of it, opening up a chance for Farah. And credit to Farah to be able to hit that ball as powerful as he did when it was rolling along. That is something that is not easy. So easy to flop those shots, but he did manage to finish it off. And look at that head shake from Bluey. He's not happy. And in the past, we have known Bluey to turn once he's in a situation he expects he should be winning.
I think if Bluey was going to turn, it would have been in that previous match. But we already saw him trying to search out for Chelsea and Farah. So I think after that match and from what we saw against Ghost, that phase has sort of gone past.
Bluey has evolved.
Absolutely. I mean, he knows his mom's in attendance. She'll tell him off if he keeps going greedy. It's not an option there anymore. Trust the PSG name. Trust your identity as a team. And maybe you can make a comeback against Flipside Tactics.
Last series, we saw Gale force 2 games down, and they came back twice. That's a tough challenge to do, and PSG have got to do the same, but they'll have to do it 3 times if they want to be moving on to the semi-finals. Game 4 will be a huge deciding factor of momentum. Flipside, you've got a challenge.
PSG need to make sure they avoid the opening minute goal, which happens to them every single time. Finally going to get one of their own for a change. PSG go 1-0 up.
Cooksir touches that into the middle, and you just see Yukio going for the boost. Not enough time to get back. Farah open net for him, sends it straight to it, and we see PSG go up early. And is that the first time they've gone up?
That's the first time they've gone up first. They went up 2-1 in the previous game.
Well, I assume they went up if they've won a game.
No, I mean before overtime happened. So that was the first one, but their lead will not last very long. Only about 6 seconds or so as Flipside will recover.
Oh, Jesse, stop it! You can't keep demoing them. It's just not very nice.
How does he not have an Exterminator medal? It's the one medal I've never seen.
In a competitive game, yeah. Jesse, of all people, is most likely to get that. He just loves destroying cars, and it's so frustrating to be against it because you just never know when he's going to be around you.
Chaussette, long ball. Put pressure on Cooksir, who doesn't actually have the back boost to aim for, so instead he's going to have to try and go to the other side of the field, but should be fine since Yukio was there to cover him. Farah looking to just flop it back into the other corner. PSG stuck to their defensive lines for the time being. You see how close these players get now. No one ever really sits right in the middle of the goal anymore. They try and keep themselves close to the side so they have the option of getting up on the backboard to make a save. Jesse taps it straight down. Well, he actually is going to be able to get there in time. And instead, of course, he takes out his biggest possible bumper and goes searching for a PSG player. Still going for it over in the background. Looks they're going to be waiting for Jesse to come in yet again. 2 players up, and Jesse
what a read.
Will watch as Yukio will put it in.
Jesse can not only hit cars well, he hits the ball well too, hits that backboard, and you just see Farah inside the goal, tries to go up and reach it, but hits his head on that crossbar. Yukio read it perfectly and puts that one in. That is a kind of read that used to be tough, now is expected 100% of the time.
And I want to just point out how smart that was from Jesse. He's got multiple options there. One's just play into the corner. Oh, that could be going in. That's very slow, but a good save from Yukio. He can play into the corner and try and force it there. He can go up to the ceiling, which we see very often now, but instead he goes onto the other side of the ball, taps it, and then sets up brilliantly. 2 minutes now finished in this game. Seems to be averaging at least 1 goal every 40 seconds thus far. Back into the middle. Chaussette wants to take. He's got options in field. Takes the fake instead. That's going to be incredibly dangerous. Cooks it, though. Positions correctly. Off the backboard. 2 players committed yet again. This is something we're seeing very often from Flipside. They've got away with it previously, but if they commit 2 and cannot quite get contact, they're going to be in trouble as they are stuck in defense. This is all coming from that one mistake.
They're just getting away with so much, though. PSG need to finish more of these, or at least challenge them. That one shot when 2 committed was straight at Cooksy. He didn't have to do much. And there, a missed shot opportunity. Needs to be better.
Cooks here, wants to follow, doesn't have the boost for it, and instead will be forced to watch as Yukio takes over offensive duties. PSG still trailing. They need to find a way out. They must win this match. Could be about to be made even more difficult. Jesse can be called off by Cooks here. Looks for a setup, but ends up just being used as a tool to pinch the ball back into the Flipside tactics side. Yukio required.
Following.
Seeing this a little bit too often. Cooks, he wants to go for these follow-ups, but players are often trying to follow their own taps. Yukio takes the shot. Ooh. What an incredible save! 3 players are in the blue half. It has to go in, and it will.
That incredible save was no one other than Cooks here. Oh, as he puts it away.
Less impressive now.
And it was an attempted shot to the near post, but Cooksir was landing, couldn't avoid it. In the end, it does result in a goal, though, still, because it was such a tense situation for PSG. No one was back.
Where did they all go?
I don't know.
There was a long period of time where Flipside were trying to set it up, and we were on a far camera. I still didn't see anyone even get past the halfway line. Shot from Yukio. Isn't quite there for making contact. PSG must find 2 within the next minute and 20. A good infield pass. Chaussette, that is one of them.
Look at Bluey here with this pass, how he cancels his flip just to make sure it cleanly goes to the middle. And how he lands perfectly afterwards, but Chaussette is there, ready to read that infield pass, and he hits it behind the defenders. The defenders defending the near post. Oh, I said defense a lot there. Defending the near post, and it does mean that ball is able to sneak via the back route, and that is another goal. Chaussette. 2 goals in quick succession. PSG are back in it.
The lead has just evaporated before Flipside's very eyes, and off the kickoff.
Double boost collect. No, don't do that.
It's not great, is it?
If you're going to do that, you cannot leave that ball in the middle, because
you can't be really going for the kickoff start that they're going for, which is attempting to kill in the middle.
Exactly. You've got to really lose that to the back corners. They didn't, so that is going to be PSG given a lifeline.
Yukio launching across the face of the goal. 1 minute remaining, all tied up. It was only with 1 minute and 20 left that I was saying that they were 3 goals to 1 up. Now Flipside has got the momentum against them. Louis has options. He chooses Ferrer. Goes low.
What a shot.
And the shooting accuracy needed to improve from PSG. And by all means, it has.
11 boost on Bluey. Sends it to the middle, creating Ferrer the paradoxical situation. If I shoot early and you're not there, I score. If you jump and try and stop it, I score. You cannot defend that. If Ferrer does the right thing, he will always finish.
That is twice now PSG have shot to the same side that the defender is coming from. And that is twice now that has worked. Now, Flipside. They were in the lead. They were so comfortable. They were just looking ahead to the semi-finals, maybe looking past PSG. You can't really do that. These guys are incredible talent at Rocket League. Oh, big bump from Ferris. Still, Cooks here, able to get a second jump, knowing that he had time. Chaussette gets the ball long. Ball is in the Flipside tactics half. They cannot get a good offensive opportunity. PSG look to wind the clock down. The ball must now touch the floor. Good opportunity. Flicked up high, but Chaussette should be able to put this straight. He actually hit that quite long. I thought he would have tried to turn his car around, and now Cooks here, he can go for it. He gets cut up from underneath. This could still be dangerous. Jesse is there, just blocked. Let's go to the tiebreaker.
Game 5, almost taken away there. But Flipside could not finish in the final moments. PSG have brought it back. And here comes the question. Is that clutch cucks thing a thing? Or are we just making it up? Because I have remembered one situation where Kuxir was on Flipside against the Leftovers, against Ferrer himself, and was destroyed in a reverse sweep fashion. Now, Ferrer is up against them. What's going to happen? I think this could go either way. I know they're going to say Cux is clutch, but PSG is starting to warm up here.
And you did mention Ferrer. That shot, not much power, but plenty of accuracy. And he's just staying calm. That's exactly what they need right now. And a very young squad from PSG to be having that player in the middle, parked and just saying, guys, the work is not done yet. No time to get hype. Let's get hype after we pick up the win. Is incredibly important. But yes, this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be Ferrer versus Kuxir yet again. Is it time for revenge? Or will Ferrer take down Kuxir much like he did previously? Game number 5. Greg, and we have a possibility of 31 games today. I think we're going to see every single one if we keep going like this. 10 for 10 now.
Exactly, and I am so excited to see the rest of the day. This is just the start of what is going to be an incredible day of Rocket League. As you mentioned, we have not missed out on a single game. Who is going to take it though? Will PSG maintain this momentum and complete the reverse sweep? Or will Cux, the clutch man himself, come in and finish it for Flipside?
Will be Flipside with the early pressure. Flipped straight down after a pinch. We've seen what Kuxir can do from pinches. 2 players committed. Now will be Kuxir taking the ball. Can't quite get a double tap, but still 2 players moved out from PSG. Now Bluey playing long. Going to be back over to Yukio. Can follow this up for a double tap. Ferrer might be able to get there in time, but isn't quite able to. Jesse takes the shots. And Chaussette shuts the ball down. Opening minute will come to a close without a goal, but still dangerous. And now yet another block. PSG want to play to the other side. Here's Chaussette. 1 tap. Can't quite get there in time to force a block, but Kuxir did play to the corner, so he was always going to be safe. It's dangerous right now, but PSG haven't got players in the correct position. Ferrer wanting to return the favor to Flipside for all the times he's been demoed so far this game, as Kuxir once again trying to go high. It seems to be his bread and butter that he's going for. A tap up, then follow.
PSG are reading the angles of these shots very well. Everything has been closed down early. Don't give him an opportunity to create the space with a shot or even a pass. And now that has meant PSG have held off Flipside's onslaught. Not really seen a shot for PSG, but they've looked very much in control on defense.
Ferry. I mean, Bluey. Well, Ferry isn't even on the pitch. Maybe.
Oh, here we go.
We'll see him later as Bluey off the ceiling. Can't quite make good enough contact, as he would have needed to get under the ball a little bit more.
Ran out of space.
Bluey now off the backboard. Still gets challenged. Kuxir has got Yukio to aim for. He's been set up. Does get there in time. Jesse's quite far back, however. So PSG have got time to move this around. Now Chaussette off the ceiling. We've seen this an awful lot. Almost seems like there's a 50% chance that it's going to go in that way, but instead it's going to go in off a follow-up from Ferrer. And now PSG are letting themselves get hyped.
People forget that that ceiling touch can often draw players out, and it has done there. We've taken 1 player out of the game, created a situation where it's 2v1. As soon as he is out of the game, you've got an open net, and that is allowing PSG to score. So Chaussette very smart to take that over the ceiling.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen Bluey happy to see a goal get stolen from him. It was his shot originally. Ferrer just with the tap in to make sure of it.
Secure.
A lot of money on the line as Ferrer wants to try and find number 2. PSG have now switched it up. It was the first few games where Flipside always took the very first goal, and then ever since PSG have been making a comeback, they've always taken the very first goal. Much the same in game 5. Long ball play. Jesse. Quite a loose tap from him. Will go back over as Bluey does not want to be shut down by a charging Yukio. PSG having opportunities to really set themselves up here if they want to go for a passing play. As Flipside have been really forced into their own side. Backboard uncontested and no one with the follow-up. Finally, Farah comes through. Bluey tries to tap it straight down. Well read by Cux here. Now another shot. Jesse will not have to do too much to deal with that. Looks for a flick, gets it past one, but Chaussette always ready to sweep up immediately afterwards as Bluey wants to tap down, but he is contested. Yet another into the side, and Yukio gets there in time.
What a save. Yukio just reaching to the final point he can hit, and that is why you defend with that back post positioning, so you can reach anywhere in the net. And that's just such good awareness of the power at which his opposition can shoot, so he can get there just in time. But PSG, all they got to do is maintain this lead. They don't need to score another goal, as Bluey is trying.
Oh, Bluey's got the setup. It's going to be turned in for goal number 2. Oh, will it? Yes, it will! PSG are on the road for an incredible comeback.
Bluey takes everyone out the game, but Yukio, who's so close to pinching that one away with the crossbar. But instead, it stays goal-bound and finished off for PSG. 2-0 with 1 minute remaining. This is where you want Cux, the clutch man, to step it up. This is your chance.
Just not getting the opportunity to. Every single time Flipside set up, they are immediately challenged. 50 seconds remaining. Farah can make it free, but Yukio there on time. Now carry and just waste as much time as possible as Flipside will spread themselves out and just hold PSG. That's not what they need right now. They need to find a way through. They've only got 30 seconds remaining, and every single time they try, they are immediately challenged midfield. Played long from Jesse. Over to Cooks. Immediately shut down, however. They need something different. None of this is working. Yukio trying to go solo. Not able to get there. 2 players committed. That's going to leave Jesse by himself, who is just jumped at it. This could be the very end of this, as 10 seconds will tick down on our clock as Jesse tries to lead for Yukio. They need to score right now. They need at least enough time to get a kickoff, but once this hits 0, the game is over. No matter what they do, PSG will make the reverse sweep stick. They are going to go on to take on guess who in our semi-finals.
PSG, they always get so hyped after their victories, and nothing is more satisfying than coming back from a 2-game deficit. They have reverse swept Flipside, but congratulations to Flipside. As mentioned, Jesse coming in last moment. Everything they did in day 3 would have been a victory, and they have played so well to get to this stage. But it will be PSG we see later on in the semi-finals. Now, there's a real question. Are they that tournament favourite that Gibbs thinks they're going to be? Or are they going to have a struggle again next game against guess who? We'll be seeing that one later.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, PSG, incredible comeback from them. I want to thank them for 2 things. Number 1, for making that game so hype. And number 2, for not breaking our stage for a change with their celebration. They were a little bit nuts back over in Washington, but maybe winning is getting a little bit too normal for them. Let's hear from our boys over at the desk.
Thank you, Shogun and Greg, and what a match. This day just keeps getting better and better and better. Such a close match there between Flipside and PSG. PSG having to come back from behind and pull off the reverse sweep to advance to the next round, and they did it in style. Guys, what do you think of that match?
It was all that game 4. It was game 4. It was 3 goals to 1, and in 33 seconds, PSG scores 3 times, take the lead there, and you don't want to go down 2-0 and then have to worry about Cux, but maybe they want the hard road. They want that extra practice, and they did it. The reverse sweep against Cux. Seems like Farah has Cux's number. He's been doing this a lot to him, so hats off to PSG. It looks scary. Very similar to the Ghost series, I felt like. A little shaky, and then they picked it back up.
It was also a series really played on the goal line, I felt, between these 2 teams. There wasn't a whole lot of play in the midfield. It was shot ringing off the back wall and right around the net. And finally, that Flipside defense, like you said, in that game 3, after that, they just couldn't stop it. Eventually, PSG just had too much going for them, and they just kept throwing it at them.
Yeah, it feels like there was a moment where it was just literally relentless pressure from PSG. They are a team that's known for being super fast. It felt like they just needed to get to that phase where they can just start pouring that on, and they were like, well, this is the PSG we know. But we actually have Bluey on standby, excited to get his insight on that match. Bluey, congratulations on taking out Flipside. That was a series where you guys fell down 0-2. Can you talk me through what you guys were communicating to each other? Was there a moment where you guys, was it nerves where you shook it off and you're just able to play the Rocket League you were looking for?
I think we really underestimated Flipside tactics because, you know, it was Kux, Yukio, and Jesse. Especially like Jesse, we just underestimated them, and they took advantage of that. So yeah, and we just kept giving the ball to them. That's what they were doing. That's why we were losing. But as soon as we recognized that, we just kept talking, and yeah, we beat them.
So it seemed like early on in the series, you were a bit shaky, and then you picked it up towards the end. It also looked like on the cams that you were getting a little bit upset, like after game 3, I think it was. Like you guys won that game, but you looked a little upset. Did you have to just mentally bounce back throughout that series?
Yeah, I was getting kind of tilted because I felt like we shouldn't be losing to them. But yeah, after like game 3 or game 4, we just got our confidence back and we just started beating them.
Yeah, so you were talking a little bit about a lack of respect for a couple of players on the Flipside roster. Looking ahead at Guess Who, I'm sure you have a healthy respect for all 3 players on that team. So who's the one that you think you need to shut down to move ahead and get into the grand finals?
Definitely Guess Who, Fairy Peak especially. Fairy Peak's one of the best players in the world. If we can get past Fairy Peak, we can probably win the whole thing, honestly.
All right, Blue, last question for you. We've seen you guys in many LAN environments before. How are you feeling overall with the tournament, and especially confidence level among your whole team as you've been here before? This might be your chance to really get a nice victory. How are you guys feeling overall?
Now that we beat Flipside, we're pretty confident. Playing against Guess Who, it's going to be hard because they reverse swept us like twice in RLCS. So we're confident, but it's going to be tough either way.
All right, looking forward to it, Bluey. Best of luck.
Thank you.
That's Bluey from PSG. What a phenomenal performance from them, falling down 0-2, but then, you know, having the resilience and the maturity, to be honest, to bring that back and win it in Game 5. Let's take another look at the highlights from that one. Once again, Flipside up 2-0, but PSG not saying goodbye. They came back to win it in 5 games.
And one thing, PSG 1v1 defense, they were not good against Ghost. They weren't good here, but they cleaned it up, didn't give Flipside any 1v1 opportunities later on in the series. Very similar to Ghost there. PSG, they're doing the they're adapting really well towards the end of the series, and now it's going to 7-game series, so that might help them even more.
Yeah, and like you said, right in the middle of that game number 3, they win that in overtime, and then they come out in game 4, guns blazing. There we go. You start tripping over words, will make me start tripping over words. But they really got the engine revved up. And like I said, right on the goal line, great stop there from Yukio. Unfortunately, the pressure too much, and they're ready to go.
Oh, man.
They're ready to go. They almost knocked the stage over, I bet.
Yes, please don't. Like, I just hope PSG loses so we have a stage still for the grand final.
I love how excited they get, though. They're super into the game, and when they're on point, it's so much fun to watch. PSG, definitely a contender in this tournament. They move on to the semifinals to play a best-of-7 against Guess Who. That's going to be a little bit later, but for now, it's time to move into our North American side of the bracket in the quarterfinals. Coming up next, we have a best-of-5 between Dignitas and G2 live from Leipzig and the DreamHack Open. We're going to take a short break. Be right back.